Welcome everyone to another tournament showdown between the Cool Umbrella and the Phoenix King. If you remember from one of the videos I posted last week, Cool Umbrella took one game from the Phoenix King and now it is down to a match point if the Phoenix King has to win this round to stay in the fight. For the army builds, we need to pause a bit as this one is an extremely fast-paced battle. For the Greenskins, we have a lot of mobility here. Wolf Riders and Goblin Spider Riders all in the bushes here, and some Orc Chariots, a lot of skirmishing cavalry in the form of Goblin Wolf Rider Archers, one of them the Mangy's Marauders, 2 Squig Hopper units, and more Wolf Riders and Spider Riders in here in the bushes. As for the infantry department, a very narrow build, with only some Savage Orc Biggins, the 8-peak Loonies, and some Rusty Airs, supported by Scarsnake, Goblin Shaman, and the Giant River Trollhack. Now for the Phoenix King, he went all in, taking a very risky build, but also having some very strong army elements. He's going full cav, literally 0 infantry in his army. Only Dark Riders, Cold One Knights, Scourge Ranger Chariots, and more Dark Riders with repeater crossbows. Now, the killing power of this build is definitely these guys. Throw Manticore supporting Morathi. So, a very terrifying goon squads in the air, and that is it for the army build. Can Phoenix King take back one win with this all-cav no-foot army build? Extremely risky, but we will wait and see. The battle begins with an aggressive push from these Dark Riders with crossbow, driving forward, trying to scout out for the main forces and probably try to get some missile damage in. But Cool Umbrella is ready for this push. His Goblin Riders in the forest counter-charging out of ambush, getting into the face of these Dark Riders with crossbows, driving them away. So Phoenix King, with a timely counter-attack from these Dark Riders on the flank, actually managed to do a rear charge on these overextending Spider Riders and Wolf Riders. Now, with a nice angle charge from behind, these Dark Riders actually stop these Spider Riders from pulling out of this engagement, allowing the slower Cold One Knights and the other Dark Riders with shields to charge in from the back, proving Raptor mounts are superior with a thunderous charge, devastating these cowardly Spider Riders of the Goblins, who are now pulling back, being terrified by the close presence of all these Manticores and giving free damage to the Dark Elf Cavalry. While over here, these Dark Riders with shields are pulling back as they took some damage after being stuck on some Savage Orc Biggins. The anti-large damage really dishing out the pain on the squishy Dark Riders. While over here, Dark Riders and Cold One Knights are pushing forward, while the Manticores driving back all these War Chariots, while Gobbles are just free-firing at whatever they can shoot at. The Wolf Riders here over trying to charge into the Dark Riders. However, the Dark Riders are not alone. They have a lot of support. More Dark Riders flooding in, and also the Cold One Knights closely following from the back, while the Manticore and Morathi Goon Squad gooning out the War Chariots from the Greenskins. Back to the mosh pit in the middle, the outnumbered Goblin Wolf Rider Archers are being pushed away, dropping their leadership, and soon will be routed by all these overwhelming mobility. While over here, Squig Hoppers charging into the Cold One Knights, dishing out really nice impact damage, but with a Retribution Doom Bolt from Morathi, smashing these Squig Hoppers into pieces. And now with more Cold One Knights charging in, they will also be terrified by the close presence of the Manticores. On the far flank, some really beleaguered Spider Riders are being pushed away as they are actually slower than the Dark Riders here. With 92 speed, the Dark Riders can easily catch up on these fleeing Spider Riders. At the back, you can see that these Scourge Runner Chariots, due to all the intense micro in the front, got forgotten by Phoenix King on some anti-large armor-piercing Savage Orc Biggins, being routed before expending most of their ammo. Same goes for the other Scourge Runner as they are caught by some Greenskins like Cav. However, the Dark Elves has pulled out victoriously in this middle engagement. A lot of their damage dealing units are still healthy, while most of the Greenskin mobilities are basically destroyed. Especially the only armor piercing mobility are gone from the Greenskin roster, leaving only some Mangy Marauders to do some nice armor piercing damage against the Manticores, but that is if they can get into range to shoot. While the Dark Riders with crossbows, recognizing this threat, are just going back to shoot up these already damaged Goblin Wolf Rider Archers. But the Greenskins now getting into a bit of a trouble as the Giant River Trollhack now pushing ahead of the army as she is faster than the rest of the infantry. The 8-peak Loons and the Biggins are unable to support as they are pinned in place by the Cold One Cavalry, and that leaves the River Trollhack alone against 3 single entities sniping her out. And since there are no close by mobility support, only some very tattered spider riders, there is nothing left to save the River Troll hack. There's simply nothing to pin in these single entities, prevent them from chasing down the River Troll hack. Wolf Riders charging into the Dark Riders, however with Murderous Prowess turned on all these Dark Elf units, the buffed up melee attack of the Dark Riders can overpower these Wolf Riders easily, especially with Cold One Knights supporting the Wolf Riders. Even with the Greenskins Wa steroid buffing up their melee stats, they will be routed, just destroyed, melted in this melee engagement. Some Wolf Riders trying to use that Wa to get into melee combat to dish out some pain on the Dark Riders, but they are just not that good in melee combat with worse stats than the Dark Riders themselves, especially with Wa ending on them while the Murderous Prowess are still on the Dark Riders. They'll probably lose this fight. Now finally in the middle, the Greenskins boys are getting some action as Scarsnake, despite being charged, standing firm against Morathi. However, the Manticores are already diving into the combat, now going straight across the battlefield trying to charge for Scarsnakes. Making things worse for the Greenskins, a Soul Stealer going in, topping up the health of Morathi, and the Cold One Riders charging and being sacrificed straight onto these Savage Orc Biggins, pinning them in place, preventing all these anti-large infantry from supporting Scarsnake. Scarsnake being separated, isolated, and alone will be destroyed by all these single entities. Yes, he's a good anti-large melee fighter, but remember he's still only a gobble on foot. And with 3 single entities with massive weapon strength gooning on him, he is easily overpowered by the numbers advantage here. And Phoenix King will be guaranteeing his departure from the battlefield by sending a Manticore going after him. Massive loss for the Greenskins, and you can see the balance of power has turned into the favor of the Dark Elves. For Cool Umbrella, the only anti-large infantry left is gone with the Terrify effect of all these Cold Knights and Manticores. The 8-peak loonies are extremely tattered, and only a Night Goblin Shaman is really remaining in the fight. And only being a puny gobble here, a cowardly creature, he simply can't stand in the might of a full health Morathi. He will be sniped out, and that's basically it. With army losses kicking in, the Phoenix King will be taking this game. GG to both players, that was an impressively fun game. Big thanks to Cool Umbrella and the Phoenix King for joining my tournament and sending in this absolutely fun replay. Phoenix King, they're using some impressive micro, concentrating his force into a powerful mobility fist, just basically crushing all the light cav that the Greenskins were able to throw at the Dark Elves, as the Dark Elves do have the melee advantage in the mobility game, preventing them to prolong that melee fight, using that skirmishing fire from all these Wolf Riders to chip away his own units. While his other units, the Scourge Runner Chariots, are distracting the infantry from the Greenskins there, basically delaying the Savage Orc Biggins, forcing them to stay behind to melee these chariots, as Cool Umbrella was trying to dart back into the middle of the battlefield to support the rest of his mobility. The faster River Troll hack as well as the 8-peak loonies were basically getting ahead of the slower infantry and the delayed infantry due to the Scourge Runners. And that allowed the Manticores in the end to separate these leadership units and snipe them out. Also, very impressive use of these Cold One Knights. You can see that they are pretty much sacrificed. They're taking massive damage throughout the melee combat, but they were key in killing all these Greenskins character as they were charging into combat, pinning down the supporting infantry from the Greenskins, the AP Loonies, the Savage Orc Biggins, and isolating the characters from the melee support, allowing the Manticores and Morathi to goon out these characters. Now let's go into the actual army performances for the Phoenix King there. Morathi with Soul Stealer and all this melee sniping power coupled with the Feral Manticore, they were able to snipe out most of the leadership of the Greenskins and do some really impressive damage. Also, Soul Stealer there in the end catching a bunch of the Greenskin units, getting some lucrative value. Dark Riders, they were not able to do too much damage other than this one, earning 782 value and 116 kills. No doubt they were just mostly there to chase off routing units, and as they are actually a better cavalry than the Wolf Riders, they were able to utilize that melee advantage, especially with Murderous Prowess, just overpowering these Greenskins like cav. Cold One Knights, 1100 value there, 900 value and 700 value. They were the killing power in this mobility core, and they were absolutely doing their job, charging down any units that were able to get into the Dark Riders, fending off the mobility threat as a superior cavalry unit, and basically protecting these Dark Riders in the end, and also in the end, of course, charging into the Savage Orc Biggins and 8-Peak Loonies to separate the infantry forces from the Greenskin characters. Now, Dark Riders, they're not doing a lot of damage as they actually get outskirmished by the Goblin Wolf Rider archers a lot. The cheaper mobility and firepower from these Wolf Riders means that they can't really trade cost effectively against Greenskins cavalry, especially that they can't fire when moving. Still, in the end, they were able to hold their ground against these Goblin Wolf Rider charges, and also using that missile firepower to shoot away these Menji Marauders and whatnot. The double Scourge Runner chariots not earning a lot of value. It's not like they have a lot of good targets to shoot at anyways, maybe the River Troll hack, but the light cavalry of the Greenskins means that these slower chariots than the Greenskin cavalry will get caught up and slaughtered, so they are just there, delay the enemy as a distraction and pressure Cool Umbrella into separating his forces, as he was basically just rushing all his forces into the middle of the battlefield. It is not in a control group, so the speed differences between the infantry and the faster gobbles and the giant River Troll hack will be emphasized here, with the River Troll hack pushing way ahead of the main army out of support from the units. Manticores, we covered them already, with the sniping power hunting down the chariots, and the Greenskin characters using the terror to rout all these Spider Riders and Wolf Riders. Just a very cost-effective terror of sorts, just helping Morathi to goon out any Greenskin characters. Now for the Greenskin units, River Troll Hag gets sniped out by the Goon Squad, same for Skarsnik, not earning any value. The Night Goblin Shaman got some value with his Vindictive Glare. 8-Peak Loonies getting into melee against some of the Dark Elves units, especially able to basically try and hack through these Code 1 Knights. They were able to get some value in the end, but not a lot. Savage Orc Biggins was able to get some decent value on both units, as they were basically fighting a whole army of suitable targets for them. Dark Riders, Code 1 Knights, and Manticores, and Scourge Runner Chariots all are large targets, and their armor-piercing anti-large damage will be very helpful against this army. Just that it's not enough to pull back the game, as the leadership is gone, and as Savage Orc Biggins, they do not have the greatest leadership, nor do they have immune to psychology once their frenzy wears off, will not be able to hold themselves up against the terror from the feral manticores. Rusty Airs with such a mobility build will be easily swarmed by all of these cavalry from the Dark Elves, especially when the Greenskin infantry is such a narrow formation. Goblin Wolf Riders having a rather varying performance, some of them getting wrecked in combat by all these Dark Riders and Code 1 Knights, some of them were able to get onto some Dark Riders and Scourge Runner Chariots to finish them off, getting some decent value overall. The Forest Goblin Spider Riders, not so much, as they were chased down by all these Dark Riders and Code 1 Knights after getting terrified by the feral manticores due to their low leadership. Night Goblin Squig Hoppers there didn't do a lot of damage as well after they got routed by the combination of Code 1 Knights and the Doombolt from Morathi. They just got hunted down by the faster and lighter Dark Elf cavalry. Orc-Boar Chariots here, not a lot of infantry for them to carve through, so in the end they just got hunted down by all the single entity goon squads on the skies by the Dark Elves. The Goblin Wolf Rider archers there could have done a lot more if they were able to fire away, but nice pressure from the Phoenix King there, using the Dark Riders and the Dark Riders with crossbows to really push and threaten these Goblin Wolf Rider archers, and with the Code 1 Knights standing around, they will not be able to charge into combat to disrupt the Dark Riders with crossbows. Overall, the Phoenix King showed an impressive use of his mobility here, using his cavalry advantage, concentrated all his forces, wrecking the more scattered light cavalry of the Greenskins here, forcing Cool Umbrella to respond in a more panicked manner without any time to organize his forces, pressuring Cool Umbrella into making certain mistakes, allowing the Morathi Goon Squads to pick apart the separated heroic units. And yeah, that's basically it for the army performances. I hope you enjoyed the replay. If you do, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe to get notified every time I upload a new video. I'll be covering topics including battle replays like this one, wild army builds, or just general tips and strategies for multiplayer for Total War Warhammer. Also recently, I'm organizing a Greenskin themed tournament for an October special, so if you're feeling interested, feel free to check it out. It'll be a sub-faction tournament with some special rules for different Greenskin factions. And yeah, that's basically it for today's video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Tactical Lich, signing out.